Okay, it's going live. Let me plug my headphones in. Hold up. No, you good. All right, can you hear me? I think you're muted.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, you good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's a lot clear. That's a lot clear. You was a little low at first,
All
but
right,
you good
cool.
now. Okay.
All right.
All right. So we're gonna start this, of course, by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh,
Yahweh Shem,
Hashem, Yahweh
Yahweh
Shah.
Shai.
Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, learning and or teaching this gospel in truth and sincerity. Shalom, sister. Shalom to you. So we're gonna get this thing going. Um, y'all see the title of it. Illinois passes the safety law. Is it the purge? We're gonna get into some things dealing with it. A lot of people going over this is definitely a big topic right now going on because as we know, in this even people in this community all in together. We know, hey, Jacob's trouble is on the horizon, so we want to know, hey, look, this is it. We're gonna get into some breakdown of it and just kind of just analyzing and see where we're going, what's gonna happen, what's taking place, and what they're doing with this, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
let's start at the let's start here on John 21 and 15. All right. So it says, so when they had dined, Yahweh shall saith to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. Salaki. He saith unto him, Feed my lambs. He saith to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my sheep. He saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Yahweh Shai saith unto him, Feed my sheep. So, we want to edify whoever this could be edifying to know what's going on by the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Mashiach Malak Yahweh Shah, man. So, of course, Brother Azariah, and it's the brother Howie Allah. So we're gonna get into it, and let's let the spirit take us where it take us.
God.
All right. First thing that we have on here that we'll dive into is, we'll play this. I'll play this video. I'll go ahead and play this video real quick. All right. So Illinois, first state ever to eliminate the cash bail. So this is broadcasters on Fox right here. So we're gonna go ahead and play a little bit of this.
Is everybody able to be seen by everybody?
Oh yeah, Salaki. No, good catch, Ak. Let me share
Yeah.
the screen. Let me share the screen. So let me get to it. Brother Ivan, Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah Barakatah.
And Shalom Akim. Yahbashim Yashai Barakatham.
See, window. Go right here. All right. All right. Let me know if you see it over here.
Okay, yeah. You got the third string. You got it.
Got it.
Yeah, it's working.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it off. Then play this.
Concerned Communities for America Executive Director. Daquan, good to see you. Thank you for being here. is there no doubt, or is it, maybe put it this way, is there any doubt in your mind that these no bail laws do more harm than good?
Absolutely. You know, we talk about the need for criminal justice reform, and to an extent, there is a significant need. However, what we see with these laws is that we're giving criminals a get out of jail free card when we say that there are that one, the bail system needs to be overhauled, and there needs to be easier ways to pay bail. Bail is set the way it is for a reason. But then two, in addition to this law, there's a whole list of crimes that are going to be non-detainable offenses. These include burglary, robbery, kidnapping, threatening a public official, and even second-degree murder. So with these laws, what we're essentially doing is saying that, there is a threshold for how far you can go. And even if you push the boundaries, you can just get out of jail and do it again if you
Well,
like.
these people are not living in the real world. I mean, they don't realize that the attorneys for these criminals are going to use everything they can. I mean, that's what they're paid for. That's their job. I'm not criticizing them for using the law to their own purposes, but that's what they do. And in the real world, violent criminals get out and do the same things or even worse than they have before. But here's what Governor Pritzker said about this new law. I just want to roll the tape and get your reaction. Go ahead.
This legislation marks a substantial step toward dismantling the systemic racism that plagues our communities, our state, and our nation, and brings us closer to true safety, true fairness, and true justice.
You know, Daquan, one could argue that if you're looking for racism, there's nothing more racist than policies that lead to the death of minorities in America. And that's what these laws do.
Absolutely. There is nothing just, and there's nothing, promoting safety about allowing individuals who choose to break the law to threaten and to hurt innocent people, allow them back on the streets to do it again. That's the opposite of justice. And that's the opposite of promoting safety within our community. And that's something that Concerned Communities for America, we seek to combat. We understand that the only way to achieve true safety and true justice is to empower the men and women and support the men and women on the streets who are promoting safety, and that is the men and women in blue. And that is also community leaders who are actually providing resources to help pull people out of poverty, to help individuals who are experiencing, situations where they may feel that the only way that they can provide for themselves is to go out and commit a crime, and not allow them to do it.
And also do work in the jails. I mean, do
Yes.
prison ministry is what we used to call it, where you go into the jails, you work with offenders whose lives can be turned around. Nobody wants to be in jail. You can do that, but to just let violent criminals out, to give them a pass is crazy. By the way, even in states that have tried this where it's failed miserably, like New York, you still have Governor Hochul. She just came out with an op-ed last spring about our no bail law. I just want to put that up on the screen. In 2019, this is what she says. In 2019, the state legislature enacted landmark reforms to our bail laws. The reforms were successful. Fewer New Yorkers are kept behind bars just because they can't pay them. We've saved taxpayer dollars in the process. Whoopee! We're saving money by letting violent criminals out of jail. It's crazy.
Exactly. And while they're, toting the number of people that aren't in jail, what she's not addressing is the amount of crime that has risen in New York, and that can be correlated to this law. You have, the mayor of New York City calling for support in getting guns off the street because there are now more unregistered guns in the city of New York than there ever been at any time before. If this law really worked, then crime would, in theory, go down. But what we've seen is that there are more repeat offenders, there are more new offenders, and there are a much larger variety of crimes taking place in the city of New York.
And cops know it. And the mayor of New York is a former cop, so he knows it. You have cops in Illinois who are furious. There's a Johnson County sheriff who just said about what's going to happen in Illinois. Anyone sitting in jail right now with all these pending charges, they're going to be let out. The gates are open, and they're going to be let out into the street. So they know what's going to come, and it ain't going to be pretty. I mean, it's going to make things worse, not better.
Absolutely. I'm reminded of a story of one of the brave not widows, but wives of a police officer who was hurt in the line of duty that has come alongside of CCA. Her name is Esther Vivi, and her husband was dragged 4 blocks, city blocks, when a young man decided to steal a vehicle, and when he tried to perform a routine traffic stop, the young man sped off, dragging the officer Vivi with him. This was a repeat offender. This was a young man who should have been prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But because of the relaxed laws in New York and the same type of laws that are going into effect in Chicago and other places, you have individuals like this who can be on the streets once again.
Well, we've got a list that we put together, by the way, of repeat offenders that were let out by some of these no bail laws, and the list is long. It goes on and on and on. I mean, we could roll it all afternoon. But I'm just wondering if there are sensible changes to the laws and getting rid of some of these horrible Soros-supported prosecutors that we have. Will we see a return to the BLM activists out on the street, the Antifa activists out on the street, even after everything we know now about BLM, how they were, doing funny business with money to put it in their own pockets? And I mean, you've dealt with corporations that contributed money to BLM. Have they finally learned the lesson, or will they be funding them all over again?
Honestly, we've done our part to try to educate these corporations, to let them know that their blind support out of fear of being labeled racist for the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation brought us the crime and the anarchy and the violence that we are seeing in our communities today. It didn't stop it, it fueled it. And unfortunately, many of these corporations haven't yet learned the lesson. And so our next step is to educate the public. We tried the corporations, and now we're going to the public to show them that, hey, these individuals who are backed by George Soros, who claim to be your friend, these public officials and prosecutors, they don't care about you. They don't care about the law to keep you safe. Rather, they care about the agenda. And we're taking that message not just to the people, but we're going to take it back to the corporations and put them on notice as well. As we educate the people, our goal is to amplify that message across the country. And if corporations want to come alongside us and show their,
I mean, that's pretty much the gist of that.
Con.
Sure, yeah, a lot. Sister said she left Chicago back in 08. Hey, Yahweh Sabah, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah.
Yeah, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah. Yeah, I mean, basically, what they said is, you got to remember that's Fox News, so they are going to be on the side against the whole bail reform, which is a bad thing. They brought up some key things. As far as like, it's always the same key phrases you got to watch out for when you're watching these TV stations. BLM, protests, violence, crime. Like, these are key buzzwords that they'll say during these things. That bail reform is happening in various cities. They have Houston has participated in that bail reform, but not the state of Texas as a whole. The difference with this particular act is that it's for the whole state of Illinois. But at the end of the day, do they care about what's happening in Peoria, Illinois, or Aurora, Illinois, or Springfield, Illinois? Nah, they're caring really what's happening in Cook County, Chicago. So that's where they're more looking to use this particular thing, is to have it affect what's going on in Chicago. Now, if you're from New Orleans, well, some people from New Orleans may know this if you're older. I don't even know if they actually changed the law, but in New Orleans, they had a law where, let's say you were arrested for a crime like a murder. Let's say you're arrested for a murder. They would have like 30 days to basically bring the actual charges to court, meaning that if they couldn't find the evidence within 30 days, they had to drop the actual charges. So what would happen is in New Orleans, that's how New Orleans became an extremely violent city back in the day. And I don't know if they reformed it now, but I'm talking about like, 80s, 90s, 70s, like it was ridiculous. So what happened is you'd have these guys that would go kill somebody, and they would be like, they would say something like, it's nothing but a 30-day murder. It's nothing but a 30-day murder, meaning I got 30 days, and if they don't bring them charges, I'm free. So it emboldened guys to go and kill people. Also with the whole thing about, the no snitching too. which means, if you was part of a crew and somebody knew that you killed somebody, you knew that that person knew that if they said something, they could get killed. So a lot of times, if people were witnesses to a murder, they would basically not say anything. So when that person got out and didn't get charged, they would know they didn't have to go back and kill that particular person for snitching or sell somebody hey, so and so was there, get them, take them out. So that just emboldened criminality. So they know that this stuff works in other places. And I believe one of the charges on there is second-degree murder, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Is actually on there.
I'll pull it up.
Yeah, second-degree murder. So you can actually also, if you can, search what a second-degree murder charge is, because it's first degree as well. I believe first degree may be like plotted, premeditated murder. The second degree is like a little bit different.
Yeah. No, I got you. Let's do that real quick, and then I'll pull out the rest of everything else, other potential charges. You know what I'm saying, that basically people will get away with. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and do this first. Second degree murder.
Yeah. Look at the difference between first and second degree murder, and I'm gonna tell you why they're doing it this way. Yeah, first degree, and you could say, which is
I'll do that.
The difference. Yeah, do the difference. People also ask that area at the bottom of the screen.
It's asking. Yeah. It says which is worse.
Yeah, the difference between
here we go.
The differences.
Here it go. Difference between first and second.
Now, first degree murder is usually intentional and premeditated. That's somebody like plotting to actually go out and kill a particular person. Second degree murder can be unintentional, but the plan was to harm somebody. Usually, this would fall in the category a lot of time of like gang violence. So someone's at a club, and they go outside. They see the op. They'll go start shooting, get their guns, but they didn't have the intention that day of actually killing that particular person. But what the actions that they had led to an actual murder. You get what I'm saying? So you can go ahead and read what a second degree murder is if you can, because I can't see. It's gonna be hard for me to see that screen.
You're good. It might.
Okay, let me see if it'll. Okay, it's decent. It's not as clear, but it's good enough. Yeah, it's trying to see if it's going to get clear enough. I increased the screen size. Here it is. Yeah, go ahead and read it, because for some reason it's looking blurry on my end, even when I read it from secondary murder.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So, second. Hopefully this thing don't try to bring me out, but here we go. Second degree murder, or second degree manslaughter. It's still a very serious crime, but it's a step down in severity when compared to the first degree. In general terms, a second degree murder is one is one that doesn't have any kind of premeditation and may only have been intended to cause harm rather than death. So
yeah, go to the bullet point. What does it say? Intentional killings without premeditation.
Intentional killings without premeditation.
So that's what the bullet point says. Basically, like, premeditation murder is first degree. So that's someone like going out and plotting to kill a specific person, lying in wait to kill a particular person. Now, a lot of times, a lot of these charges will first be levied as a second degree murder until they bring more evidence to the case, and then it can be upgraded to like a first degree murder. When it's upgraded to the first degree murder, the prosecutor has to actually have proof of premeditation involved. This could be like threats, telling somebody that you're going to kill them, versus you getting into a confrontation with somebody at a bar, going back to your car to go and shoot them with the intention to harm them, and that harm you shooting them leads to their death. That's second degree. So that's what most charges of murder actually fall under. A lot of times, because a lot of times second degree murder is a crime of emotions. Meaning, what I mean by that is like it's a reactionary to a particular setting or situation or person, and this is where a lot of gang murders fall under. Actually, a lot of gang homicides fall under this category. A lot of armed robberies will fall under this particular category as well, because it may been done not out of full premeditation, but the harm that was done to that person in the process of a crime led to the actual act. I don't know if they can hear me because I think you muted your.
No, yes. So Salak, yes, I stepped aside for a second.
Am I still able to be heard when you go
Oh
away?
yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah, okay,
See.
just making sure.
Kaka.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and go to that Instagram post if you can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go to that Instagram post and show the actual that cop, I believe he was, or sheriff or whatever he was talking about. You know what I'm talking about? You have that one?
You talking? Wait, are you talking about the non-detainable offenses or?
Yeah. The one where the
Oh
guy's talking, the actual like police officer. That's the one that was circulating around. If you, I
yeah.
can send it to you.
Let's see. I clicked on it right here. I don't know if it popped up in front of y'all right now. I don't know if you can see it.
Let me see if I can send it to your IG, maybe, or I can just send it to your.
Let me know if you see it. I put it up right here. I don't know if it popped up for everybody to see right now. Is the non-detainable offenses.
Yeah, I can't see anything. Like
Okay.
it's still showing where we're at.
Let me try to share it again. Let me see.
You don't have it on a separate tab or something?
Yeah, and that's what it's on. It's on it's not in a different window, it's on a tab right now. So I wonder because it's probably still sharing. Let me give me a second. I think I have to make it share to the let me see. Let me take it back.
Yeah, take it back and just go back and choose the screen the tab you want to share.
Let's see. Let me do it. Yep, the window. Let me bring that. Let me pull that up real quick. Look like that's it right there.
Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah, that's all we need. We don't need the guy talking. So you can go over and read it.
So you got different ones, right? These are the non-detainable offenses that Illinois is putting out in January 1st, 2023. You got aggravated battery, aggravated DUI, aggravated fleeing, arson, burglary, drug-induced homicide, intimidation, kidnapping, robbery, second-degree murder, which we just went over, and threatening a public official. So these are the different things that when this is passed, right, someone can get away with doing it. And I also heard as well so for example, how can we just call 911 if a situation, you can call them, police get involved, even if it's right, especially in the neighborhood Jake being, a lot of times police, depending on where it's at or what it is, the police could come like maybe 20 minutes, an hour later. Well, this would make it so it would have to take, I believe, 48 hours, if I'm not mistaken, 48 hours before they would actually have to arrive. They would have to, for one, actually give a phone call, and then they can determine whether it's an offense worthy enough of basically coming down to handle the situation. It has to get approved. So, and these are no light things. So, it's going to be a lot going on, man. A lot going on. We can get into. We already went into second degree murder, so everyone knows what burglary is. We can get into a couple of these different things. But even
I mean, just look at that stuff, man, and see what did they not put on there. That's the key. Why did they not put other things on there?
Right.
Like they didn't put, sexual assault, rape on there for obvious reasons. So they're actually if you look at it, let's go over the Black Lives Matter protests because they talked about BLM, right? There's like two things in here that automatically frees them from basically being able to be detained. One is threatening a public official, and the other one is arson. Because they were setting buildings on fire, right? They were doing that, right? Burglary, breaking into stores, stealing. That's basically burglary. You're breaking and entering.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to allow them. That's going to allow what people to go and shoplift.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's going to allow people, if there's protests, they can go shoplift. This is talking about in a mass scale. Now, individually, an individual can go and basically break into your home. And
Right.
peep this, they can do this. They can break into your home and then murder, which is second degree, because they're not going to get charged with first degree because the intention of the break-in was initially burglary, but not premeditated first degree murder. That means that someone can break into your home in Illinois and murder you and then be undetained once they're picked up by the police officer. So once they're booked, if they're booked, they're going to be booked for burglary, okay, which is breaking and entering, and second degree murder, not first degree murder, okay? And then they're going to be back out in the streets.
Right.
So now this could create a cycle of crime, that hasn't been seen before. And remember, the people that will do this is going to be the criminal element among our people. Now, there is another side of this. Another side of this is the fact that it doesn't have to be just quote unquote our people. It could be other people groups, okay, that are anti so-called black or anti so-called black and Latino. I have to say it like that for a variety of reasons. As somebody who understands the dynamics even amongst the tribes of anti so-called black racism coming from so-called Latinos of the Northern Tribe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just keep it real because there was an incident that occurred 2 years ago in Cicero, Illinois, which is in Cook County, where there was some anti so-called black incidents that occurred that later led to retaliation against various people of the Northern tribes after the whole incident went down. So what I'm saying is that it could lead to, those type of incidents occurring. However, the primary thing is to basically criminalize the image of so-called black people or those of the Southern tribes, Benjamin, Judah, Levi, which, that's basically the face of criminality in Babylon. Okay, that's what they promote. Now, on the flip side, when it comes to these Edomites, now they have the opportunity to also bring in their anti-Jake groups as well, militia groups. You're going to have also like groups like the Proud Boys that could be there. Okay, you're going to have these other new groups like neo-Nazi groups, Adam Waffen. These are various groups, Order of the Nine Angles, groups that a lot of you brothers and sisters don't even know about, but these are all groups that are all in line with the furtherance of white supremacy, so-called white supremacy and domination. So they can then come up and do intimidation. They can come up to neighborhoods. They can basically, say different things. They can basically bring threats. Intimidation also includes brandishing of a firearm, showing a firearm and intimidating somebody. That will be an undetainable offense. This will also bring tension as well. So that's if they want to go that level. Remember, all this stuff is being orchestrated by the powers that be. And in the video that you brought out, they talked about the governor, J.B. Pritzker. J.B. Pritzker is actually from one of the richest families in America. They're so-called, they're small hats. I'm gonna put it like that because I don't want us to get the stream taken down. You know what a small hat is? A 1948er is. Okay, they're small hats. They're from the Pritzker billionaire family. You can look it up. Just type in J.B. Pritzker or the governor of Illinois. You can search out their information, and basically they are the governor is actually part of the orchestration of this whole thing, because just like Governor Newsom also comes from a family background that's tied to a lot of things that are going on in the New World Order as well. So him doing that, I believe also J.B. Pritzker is doing something for migrants as well in Illinois, basically trying to give them. So they're setting us up to where the tribes will be blamed for some of the chaos that would ensue out of this. And all they need is just a media apparatus to say how bad it is in Chicago, which, that's all they got to do. And all these, if you look at all this aggregated DUI, okay, aggravated fleeing, aggravated fleeing, you're fleeing from a crime that you committed. You can run away and seek refuge and get away. And what you said about the 48 hours thing, I think that was like you have 48 hours, I believe, to detain somebody, right? If they run away
Right.
or whatever, that can give them enough time to basically go to a whole nother state.
Th-
You can't chase them. They can't. They don't even really. You know what I'm saying? So these people can basically go and kill a bunch of people, murder, and then leave. And guess what? It ain't Jake that could be the only one that could fall in that category doing it. It could be a
Mhm.
group of Edomites that go and do some stuff in Chicago or any other area in Illinois, and then they can get away.
Yeah.
Meaning that they can come from another state, like this dude. What's this guy that did the shooting? That 17-year-old kid that did that shooting. It was a big old trial. He found not guilty. He killed like a couple of people at a Black Lives Matter protest,
Mhm.
and he came from another state. Now he will be booked and then on bond and go back to his home state, or he can flee back to his home state after the incident. Because, like you said, I think it's a 48. They're making it to where he have 48. They allow them 48 hours before they can even be pursued, for their crime.
Mhm.
According to that video, that's why I wanted you to play that video. But if you don't have the clip, we can always probably put the clip maybe in the comment section later.
Con. I'm
You
gonna
know?
see if I got it. But yeah, no, that's a fact, man. Someone could be going on. They could be going off to a whole other state in which you can't do nothing about it.
Mhm.
That's madness, man. Well, any of these situations that could occur, man. So, what are we looking at right here? And then you got people trying to, you got the media, the mass media. Those people will try to, throw us off and say, oh, well, this is not going to be a purge like situation. You guys are basically you're dragging it. You're making this
Yeah.
you're making more than what it is. But come on, man. Esau be trying to get you with them smooth words, man. You know exactly what's going on with this. Why would you even push something like this?
Yeah. I mean, they know that it's going to lead to criminality because over here in
Right.
Houston, just in Houston and Harris County, they have like they don't have a statewide bail reform, but they have it to where it's so low or non-existent that you can go and be arrested for a crime and then get out. So what's happening is these guys are becoming repeat offenders. They're actually going out and murdering people. Like there's been big high-profile cases in Houston that have happened in the last 2 years where they came to find out the person was actually had been arrested and set out on bail or no bail for another crime they committed before they committed the another heinous crime. And we're talking about high profile cases like in Houston. So they know that if you actually give criminals an ability to be freed and not be held and detained and having to await trial because their bond is so high that they can't pay it, that they got to wait till trial to actually start to face their charges rather than being freed. They know that they're going to be more emboldened for them to be repeat offenders, and these particular crimes are designed to basically embolden those that would actually fall into that category. Now, you go ahead and get Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 11 if you can.
Yeah. Let me know if you see it though.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to
Change
go back to the dual screen and then go to the blue letter, and then with the blue letter we can go back.
Yeah.
To the, mhm.
Okay. All right. You said Ecclesiastes what now?
Yeah, 8 and 11.
Ecclesiastes. I spelled Ecclesiastes wrong.
Yeah, just put ECC. If you just say ECC 8 and 11, it should go directly there.
Okay. All right. So Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
See, that's what they understand. See, when they create these laws, they understand what the scripture says already. And these people that build Babylon, that are orchestrating these type of things, they understand the mindset and the psychology of mankind. That if you're not punished for an evil deed, that you're basically going to be more set to want to do more evil. So what they're doing is they're going to embolden these people that are out there amongst our people, okay, to do these things, and it's going to also embolden people. It's also going to embolden people, Edomites, to also do the same thing. Um, depending on what situation it is in there. But the whole thing is about orchestrating the narrative about Chicago being this criminal place, which, like I said before, on various times and lessons and on the block over the years, that the whole Chicago thing was actually an orchestrated propaganda. What little bit people know, Chicago um, had been the safest it had been for like 90 something years, like since the Great Depression and the mob days. Like that actually been extremely safe. So when they were actually promoting the narrative like 10, 12 years ago that Chicago was this most dangerous city, but they were lying to people. And I advise y'all, look up the homicide stats year by year of Chicago and look it up. Go as far back as you can go all the way up until now. You're gonna see that the narrative about Chicago during the Chief Keef days when he first came up, and that it was actually at its among its lowest times of homicides in the history of Chicago. And what they did is they started basically bringing in things that were actually going to increase the crime, such as the Chicago drill music scene that was being promoted by music execs like Leor Cohen. And then you have the likes of Rahm Emanuel, who was the Joint Chief of Staffs under Obama under his first term, who later became mayor of Chicago. Then you had the propaganda with Chicagoland on CNN. And then you had the Chicago propaganda that you were seeing weekly on Yahoo News. Every time you went to Yahoo News or any of these MSN publications that would actually tell you how many people got shot and killed every weekend in Chicago. So that way it would basically be in the minds of people that Chicago, that these so-called black people in Chicago are just animals. So that leads to the propaganda that leads to what's called dehumanization, and dehumanization eventually leads to the final solution, which is genocide. So now what happens is, even amongst our people, a lot of our people, guess what? A lot of our people outside of Chicago, when they see the news reports of crime and criminality and murders and homicides and aggravated assaults, robberies, burglaries, when they see that going up, they are going to be like, something got to be done about Chicago. Man, they wilding in Chicago, man. They got to stop that. So when they bring the National Guard, okay, and they bring out their military weapons and they're actually, shooting and killing Jake on the street and bringing him into prison, a lot of you Jakes are actually going to basically be like, man, but they was messing up over there, man. They should have been doing all that. So a lot of our people, man, y'all as just sottish, like the scripture says. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of comments over the last 10 years from Jakes basically, saying, man, something got to be done about Chicago, man. They got to do something about that. So a lot of y'all gonna be in on it too. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna be in on it. Y'all gonna be supporting of it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna be supporting of something need to be done because they're gonna have them news stories of that stuff going on, and they're gonna be pulling the heartstrings of our people and their minds. And a lot of them are gonna be supportive of some of the actions that are gonna be taken as well, especially the coon sector of our people. You know what I'm saying? The Jason the High Priest type of our people that hated their own people.
Yeah,
y'all gonna be the main ones clamoring, siding with Billy Bob and them. Saying,
God.
So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like just how it is, and there's actually, like I've been saying for some years, man. The Chicago, something's gonna go down in Chicago because it's too much of a media propaganda, and it's just too much of a media cycle on Chicago for there not to set up something. They're not doing that without intention. It's the city that they talk about amongst Jake, that to the point that Chicago equals so-called black people. You know what I mean? So you have something to say?
No, that's straight up.
Yeah,
straight up. It does equal. I'll add on this. That does equal black people, like what you said, just to tap more into it, because like you said, when you bring it to the area of the crime rate, they're making it look worse than what it was at the time, and trying to give this image of Chicago. That's especially the sector where Jake really is at. You know what I'm saying? So of course they're gonna make it look like it's the worst place possible. So hey, look,
man, Oh, I got another thing too. So 2023, January 2023 is when it's kicking off, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to also release a lot of offenders into the streets of Chicago, January 2023, based off of the crimes. If they were in the list of one of those crimes and they were not able to meet bail, once 2023 comes into effect, there will be released because they fall under that particular category. So those people are gonna get back out into the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like the brother Azariah was talking about how they were promoting Chicago being this so super duper crime city prior to it being bad. What they did is they allowed El Chapo to bring drugs into Chicago straight beeline from Mexico. This is actually chronicled in a report concerning Eric Holder, who was the Attorney General under Barack Obama, about how they basically allowed the drugs to go up to Chicago as part of like this program. I forgot the name of the program, but the federal government allowed it to happen. And then, what happened is drugs went to Chicago. Of course, guns ended up being dropped in Chicago. And then the crime actually began to increase for real. Instead of what they were lying about years prior, it actually began to actually go up. Murders began to go up. And then, I've seen videos back in, I think, 2015 or 16 where undercover cops were doing drive-bys, like literally got caught. They ended up missing their target, but it was like broad daylight, and they were in unmarked police cars, and they drove by and did a drive-by, and they ended up, I think, not being able to hit their target, and people were like, "Yo, those are some cops that was doing that." So you got a lot of elements within the police departments that are actually going to do certain things to also make this stuff even worse. And even after the death of the likes of King Von, they got other rappers that they keep signing in Chicago to promote the criminality. Now, speaking of King Von, his home, his hood, Parkway Gardens, aka O Block, is actually going to be shut down January 2023. Perfect timing, right?
That's right.
So, like, and Lil Durk actually was trying to buy it because Parkway Gardens was up for sale, and he was actually trying to buy it, but they wouldn't sell it to him. So it was actually bought out by someone else, and now the residents of O Block, aka Parkway Gardens, aka O Block, is going to be moved away from that part and be put in different various sectors of the Illinois area. Or Cook County, more than likely just put them in a different part of Chicago or Cook County, maybe one of the areas outside of Chicago. So, it's just getting obvious that they're just setting this whole thing up. And that's why we have to be aware, we have to be wise as serpent and harmless as dove. You got to know why they're doing things and what they're thinking about doing. And this is the reason why a lot of you people that call yourself Black Lives Matter, BLM, y'all people are actually the reason why this is happening, because y'all wanted to support things that didn't make any sense, and we brothers has exposed you over the years the true intention of Black Lives Matter, the true intentions of defund the police, and you didn't want to listen. There's a lot of our people that didn't want to listen. They scoffed at us, or they would basically say, no, we got to support this, we got to support that. Well, guess what? This is part of what you're doing, and guess what? They're going to blame us for it too. Us that were in the know, that knew that this was wrong. The conservative right-wing Edomite is going to blame us too, because we're all part of the same quote unquote race. So it's our fault. We supported Obama. They're gonna, we're Democrats, we're liberals, we're BLM. We're Obama supporters. We're all these things to them. It don't matter. That's why a lot of these Jakes, they got a super coon to separate themselves fully from the rest of our people. But it ain't going to help them in the end. You siding with the oppressor is not going to help you. From getting what's got coming to you, or what they want to have coming to you. You know what I mean? So, but go ahead and go to that if you can. You can go ahead and read that article.
Yeah. Let me get a preset real quick, and I got you.
Come on.
Let's see. It's the Book of Psalms. I'll just read it out here real quick. It's the Book of Psalms, chapter 62, and verse 10. Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. And that's what these people have done. They've gotten close into this way. They've trusted in this way. They
Mhm.
trust in the oppression. That's why they'll be quick to go against their own people.
Yep.
And guess what? And these are the same people you got to watch out for, man. These are the same people that you got to question whether they actually even Israel or not.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, man. They got that Edomite spirit on them, man.
God.
I'm telling you, man. Because see, that's the worst thing about it with this thing is that you got Jake that hate other Jakes because they're wicked Jakes, like a Jason the high priest.
Right.
You have it that comes out in part due to the curses.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so once Saul had hate for David, Ahab had hate for the prophets. You know what I'm saying? So you have this element among our people that always existed prior to us even being under Esau.
God.
Then you have the element of our people that are under Esau, that like we're in captivity now, who are basically conditioned to be self-hating coons.
Uh-huh.
So they fall in that category. So anytime they see a Jake, another Jake doing well, they envy him, and then because they envy him, they want to take and kill him, just like what happened with PNB Rock, right? So you have that element. Now, by the way, what happened to PNB Rock? If that happened in Illinois in 2023, those guys that did that would be not have to face, would not be in jail. They would be out on bail.
Not be in
They
jail.
would not be under the bail because that is both a robbery and second-degree murder.
Mm-hmm.
So they would not even get arrested. They would get booked, but they would be out on bail.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they fled, you would have 48 hours to catch them or whatever, and then book them and then let them go, so they can go do it again.
There's no consequences for this. There's no consequences for that.
Yeah.
They just Jake's timing was off. It would have been scapegoat. They would have been free on the joint. Mm-hmm. See? And that's terrible, bro. Like the fact that you can do these things and they promote that. I mean, like already Esau already promotes our people killing ourselves. They let that. You've seen plenty of plenty of talking of them. I remember there was a guy already dressed up. He down with a form of the membership of the KKK, talking on some, why do we have to? We don't have to deal with these these so-called niggers no more. We let them deal with themselves. Take each other out.
Yeah, it's actually more effective the way that the way the government set it up with with bringing in the drugs and the guns. I mean, it's killed more of our people than the Klan could ever have done, or even police, bad police could have done. Like it's done way more damage, bro. Like way more damage. It's not even close, And then, like you said, it's actually part of the culture that's promoted by the corporations. The corporations promote the violence among our people via media by giving $1 million deals to rappers to basically promote a death culture among our people. So you got a lot of our people. They've been hypnotized with the music because they got Spotify and YouTube Music and Apple Music playing with their earbuds in all day. So they're already under the psychological brainwashing to eventually act out the things that they listen to on a regular basis. Facts. You know what I mean? So, and then you have like a whole culture side where the woman, okay, especially the young, impressionable woman, from the teenage years to their 20s, those women also prefer those guys that act out those things that were listed in that right there. So you have a whole socialization that's occurring both on the men and woman side to promote this kind of culture among our people. Right. And both of them are responsible. Yes, the mothers are responsible too, because they had those same sons that they raised. Because guess what? These same kids, 90-something% of these men that will be acting out those crimes grew up in single mother households. Right. Hey, the parent that's absent is just as responsible as that was present. And really, the present parent is more responsible because you're responsible for the daily socialization of your kid, of telling them what's right and what's wrong. Right. But again, that goes against the rules to go against the lovely ladies. Okay, you know what I'm saying? The black queens, you know what I'm saying? The mother goddesses of the universe Can't say that against them for raising these evil sons and daughters that are going to do these things. Can't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because you can't even say that on TV. You can't talk about that on TV. Okay,
Right.
it's against the actual agenda to speak against the product of these particular type of settings. Okay, and that's the reason why we're at the point where we don't even really need to say, oh well, you need to have fathers in the home. By now, people should know you need to have a father in the house. By now, you should know that that's important. And
Right.
by now, we need to stop faking the funk and acting like men are leaving there. That it's more men leaving those situations than men being put out of those situations by those women. Kevin Samuel showed it when he asked these women who were single mothers who ended the relationship. It was them. And many times when they ended it, it was over trivial BS. And now they got kids that are confused and got emotional problems, and they're acting out those emotional problems on the streets with violence. And so this is where we're at the point. We're at a point of no return. At this point, there's nothing that we cannot fix our people here outside of just the gospel for the elect, and then getting out of here, on them chariots if we're fortunate to be beamed up like Scotty.
Con.
I mean,
And that's why you have, hey, look, that's why we go out there and we try to reach these people, man. We was just out there today. We had to, we was out there today early on. Hey, man, the same Jake walks by and you bring the same information out because, right, let's say around the time when you specifically and brothers around your time, just talking about the Israelite community, because of course we got a different understanding of what the truth is. We know what the truth is and who the truth is, right? And what you got to do to be in the truth. That's another discussion, of course. But as far as just the awakening of knowing who we are as a people, knowing who we belong to, and knowing our power, right? Around the time you was coming and learning that, brothers in the time frame, it was kind of like a draft class type thing. What I'm saying? The Most High waking people up in certain time frames, right? When y'all was getting it right, it's like, okay, now there was still information. There was a lot of information that was there, and it was that you had to really go digging. The internet was still there, and you had to do some more digging per so, and it wasn't as in front of your face as it is to this point now. It's to the point now where it's like, it's like really, you just walk up and you just look at it every day. You go on your phone, news media sites, all different articles, everything, your YouTube videos, breaking news, Twitter, trending, all of these things is in front of your face. And it's like, bro, like, how could you not see it at this point? Because it's just right there. So now it's to the point where you should be looking at, well, dang, if you come across brothers teaching it, we're going to the nuances, but brothers teaching and going into the Bible and showing you, and then you seeing it right here in your everyday life, it's like, what's the problem? At this point, because you literally see it when brothers was teaching about Jacob's trouble from that point up into this point, and you still can't see it. You're not questioning stuff. There's a problem, bro. There's a problem. For people not to see that when now is right there in front of your face, they're literally passing this out. Anyone could click on this. So that just tells you how heavy them blinders are on people, man. Luke 10 and 23, man. So this is and he turned him onto his disciples and said privately, "Blessed are the eyes which see the things that ye see." So, and we're blessed to be able to see these things physically, because everyone can see it, but they can't perceive it. They can't perceive actually what's going on, even though they may hear about it, or we bring them aside and tell them it, damn it, and they still can't grasp it. You feel? So it's just crazy, bro.
Yeah, that's basically, it's like what it is. It's like, the Most High put blinders on a lot of our people.
Right.
It's something else, it's something else, because when you look at it, it's like our people just, it's a spiritual thing, man, really more than anything, because like, When you can show somebody video clips, you can show them articles.
Right.
You can show it to them, and they can't see the end game of this. You know, a lot of our people really just thinking this stuff is going to keep going, man. They think there's going to be, you know, more and more hot girl summers. They think there's going to be more and more like turn ups. You know what I mean? They just think it's going to keep going, man. They really don't see the end. And there's actually been studies done. You know, we talked about this before about how what they asked about the optimism amongst so-called Black and so-called Hispanic and so-called white people, and they came to find out that so-called Black and so-called Hispanic people were more optimistic about the future of America than so-called white people were.
Yeah.
So you know, I mean, it's one of those things they just can't see it. Now get Isaiah chapter 6 and verse 9 if you can as well.
That's the spirit, because that was one of the precepts that was rolling in my mind.
Right.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Book of Isaiah chapter 6 and starting off at verse 9. And he said, "Go and tell his people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not." Keep it going.
Yeah, keep going. Mm-hmm.
"Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears, and understand, so I can understand with their heart, and convert and be healed."
Yeah, so the Most High actually has like a blinder, a spiritual blocker on the people, you know, to where they're not going to be able to perceive this. Like, it's literally going to be people, they ain't even going to know. They're going to be in the concentration camps, and they're going to be, you know, seeing mass, you know, killings of their people and starvation and things like that. And they're not even going to perceive that the stuff that was happening was being, they're not even going to remember that the stuff, most of them will not remember that the stuff being told to them was being told to them by people on the block that they didn't listen to, their cousin, their brother. They're not even going to perceive that, because all that stuff went in their ear and out the other, or it never was comprehended in their minds. So some of them will be like, dang, I should have listened to what he was talking about. He was right. You know, I remember when they were saying that this was going to happen, but by that time it's going to be too late. You know what I'm saying? Because like the Most High said, when I called, you did not answer, you know? So, you know what I'm saying? He said, many are called, but few are chosen. So, you know, the cries went out. The trumpet has been blown in Zion, you know what I'm saying? But most of the people didn't hear it. You know what I'm saying? Or they refused to hear what was going on, and they loved oppression. They trusted in oppression and stayed thereon. They want to participate in voting. They want to participate in the process. They still want to celebrate all these holidays. Like, it's a nonstop like affair with our people. Like, it's just going to continue, and there's going to be a remnant that are going to wake up. And Most High is going to allow them to see, perceive, hear, and understand, and they're going to be healed. They're going to be converted and healed. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, we're those that speak, you know, in a time of, you know, great confusion, man. There's probably not a more confusing time on the earth than there is right now. We're in the highest form of confusion in the history of mankind. I mean, I just watched a video yesterday of this guy, the soft white underbelly. It was a dude that was transgendered and also was an infant, believed himself to be an infant. And this guy has friends, man, that support him. This dude's like in an infant garment with a bib, with a pacifier and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, you know, we're in a time of great confusion. People think that this is just going to continue going on forever because people don't perceive that this has to eventually come to a stop. And as of right now, we're entering into the winter. You know, we know that there's stuff going on in Europe that could really pop off on a major scale, which, you know, Lord willing, will probably, you know, go into one of these days with the whole Russia and Europe and Russia versus NATO situation and what could be happening this coming up winter. But things can get really ugly very fast. And, you know, they're going to need a distraction probably over here to keep people's eyes off of what's going on over there. And probably a great enough distraction maybe is, you know, a crime wave that had not been seen in Chicago probably since the time of, you know what I'm saying, of the mobsters, man, of the likes of Al Capone. in that crime wave during the Prohibition period.
Con.
So, I mean, maybe that's what they need on a national scale, on top of the narrative of promoting the face of criminality and the problems of the U.S., which is the great boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? Judah.
Come on.
It's the boogeyman of Babylon, man.
Yup.
Forget about what this Edomite man, the slasher, Chucky, aka Chucky, aka Freddy Krueger, aka Jason Voorhees, aka Mike Myers. Forget about what he was doing the last,
Right.
400 something years on this land. You know what I mean?
Come on, man. And that's the thing. They always got to deflect. You catch one. Hey, that's why we always got to be on our toes to try to conduct ourselves right. Because the minute Jake do something, like you pull one Jake out of a bag of 1,000 that does something that an Edomite would do, Edomites gonna be quick to broadcast that.
Yep.
They'll be quick to do it. I saw. I was talking with a brother. The brother Yerumya, man. Like, so, this is weird stuff, right? So this brother, who, again, like I said, I don't know if he's a brother or not. I don't know. This is not something Jake normally does. But he goes in a PetSmart or whatever the market he was, and he starts sniffing the rear end of this Edomite girl that's in the PetSmart, man. They put him on an article and everything with his face and all. They start sniffing, on some Spider-Man stealth type skills. I sent it to you. I was like, I just like,
Man.
the way this man did the slide, dog, like this man with the slide and went over and started sniffing him, and it's just like they put that up. Now Edomites is they'll do that stuff quickly in a heartbeat. It's not broadcasted, right? It's whatever. You get swept under the rug. You got different things like Hillary Gate, these pedophiles, right? And that do they stuff behind the scenes, right? Pizzagate, all that other stuff from back in 2016, right? But Jake does one thing like that, if that is Jake, of course. But even if he's not Jake, he still look like Jake, so he's still going to be placed in the category as Jake. So, hey, we take the hit for that. Oh, look, see these so-called these black men. They're some weirdos. Like, man, y'all do this. This is what y'all do on a regular. You pull one guy out of 1,000. So. Yeah. They always looking, like you said, we the boogeyman. And that's fine, because Yahawashi about to be the ultimate boogeyman when he come down here and put everything in its proper place. So we trying to warn, that's why we trying to warn our people to get right in this thing. Sisters too, get right. We got to get right. Warn our people all together, brothers, sisters, get right in this thing while you got time, because this could be while things are getting implemented, we know eventually if it hits one spot, Chicago being that test state, if it hit one spot like that, especially being a notable place like Chicago, they're trying to implement their agenda in, it's going to transcend all the way down at some point, and it could get worse. These are things right now, right? Notice it said second-degree murder. This stuff will transcend and get worse. If we're talking about Jacob's trouble, right? Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, right? But he shall be saved out of it, right? So we do know, and I'll go up to 6. I should have read 6 first. Ask you now, and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. So that time when it comes, you're gonna see even men, right? They're gonna be acting as women in labor, getting ready to give birth, man. The paleness in their face. That's for all nations, because it's gonna be a time like never seen before. So this stuff this is the beginning. It's only gonna transcend, and it's going to get worse. It's going to be implemented everywhere. So it's just Chicago. No, that just means it's just the beginning.
That's right. Yeah, because Chicago, like when you look at they do like what do you call it? You could say like positioning. Chicago's in the northern center of the country, so it's like there's an energy. They believe in the energy, meaning if you start in the center, then you can go out wider, northwest, east, south. And Chicago's in the center of the city. That's in the center of the country. That's why that's why it's such a vital part of the country. Chicago is close enough to a lot of cities in the Midwest. It's in the middle of the country. That has a lot of history. And with what they've been doing, they couldn't. They didn't want to do it with. I guess they didn't want to run that test with like L.A. or New York. Which would have been probably the other two options to try and push this particular Chicago, this particular crime narrative. But there's actually a movie from back in the 70s where Chicago was going through a period of crime, and there was like it got so bad that the police were going to war with the gangs in the streets type thing, and that to send the National Guard. And the movie was basically almost like basically showing what would happen in the future. Basically saying it was a National Guard that to shut down the whole city. They brought in a National Guard to basically come in and fight against the criminal element in Chicago, which was so-called black people, by the way, in that movie. Now, it's a clip from a movie, so I haven't watched the whole thing, but it just shows you that how they think and plan so far ahead. These type of things that they want to do. And I mean, it's so obvious if you've been following the whole Chicago narrative for the last 10 plus years, like they were going to do something. And the fact that you are in another city and you get news about crime in Chicago on a weekly basis. You got y'all live in a lot of y'all don't even live in Chicago, and you get news on a weekly basis. If you go on your phone, you go to Yahoo News, you go to any of these like the search engine publications, you go to CNN.com, MSN.com, they'll have on the front page every Monday morning or so saying, oh, this many people got killed in this Labor Day weekend or Memorial Day weekend passes. They're going to tell you how many people got shot and killed in Chicago that weekend. And they just sending it to the whole country because they want to dehumanize. I have a lesson on psychological warfare, dehumanization, that breaks down how the process of dehumanization works and how they basically get into the minds of the masses that follow these particular propaganda talking points. And that's why I said a lot of our people, they're going to be hypnotized to support a lot of the actions that would occur to combat whatever, because all they need is just for a few kids or a few women to get killed in some of these stories. And that's going to be enough for people to really go and be in support of bringing in National Guard. So a lot of our people are going to be supportive of stuff like that.
Right.
So do you have any other precepts?
Shoot. Let's get Isaiah. Let's get Isaiah let's see, 3. A matter of fact, actually, let me get second Ezra's, man. Let me I have to pull that out real quick because it's not in the blue letter. Give me a second.
Come on.
Second Ezra's. I might even just pull it up here on my on the phone. Second Ezra's chapter 15. Actually, we'll go on 16. I'll go second Ezra. Just go over here real quick. Second Ezra 16. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. And Asia, of course, it's also talking about, it says Egypt, right? Woe be unto thee, Egypt, Assyria. Now, Asia, of course, we know is tied to Babylon or America, right? Because we're giving the products, the goods. Every time we get something made in China, right? That's how they're tied in together when it comes to Asia, right? Egypt and Syria. Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away?
God.
Yeah, man. These things, these different, you're gonna see these different things are gonna transpire. The plagues are coming, right? Fire is sent among. Hey, look, this whole Jacob's trouble, and it is so much. We know there's gonna be even people that's going against those of the Lord, man. That's why you really gotta have your Yahawashi and Mashiach, with that covering. So even if you are, even if it's of the will of the Heavenly Father for a lot to be taken, I'm gonna do another lesson. I'm gonna do a lesson on persecution, but Yahweh willing, time permitted. But we got to be prepared just in case, man. We got to be prepared. If you got his covering, you still good. He said that, you die for my namesake. I'm roughly paraphrasing. You die for my namesake, you know, you'll find your life, But
Right.
most of our people are gonna, a majority of our people are gonna die, with their life, trying to save their life, which is a natural human tendency to do. So it's understandable because by instinct you fight to save your life. But what Yahweh Shah's meaning is you're fighting to save your life because you love it here. The same people also that trust in oppression, those are the people that love it here in their life. So they're gonna try to save everything in riches, their goods. That's why you're supposed to set your treasures upon heavenly earth, the heaven, and not in the earth, right here. And a lot of stuff is about to be withered away, man. So for any Jake's, brothers, sisters that may have came across on the block and you tuned in, you looking, hey, look, listen, it's going to get uglier before it gets any better. Like the brother said, normal, the so-called normal way of living is done. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all sisters, like especially when it comes to what's about to take place here. Hey, there's been plenty of clips of videos like where women have been getting beat up like just randomly. I saw this one. It's all over Instagram. There's one Edomite girl that walked in down the street. She was on her phone doing whatever, walking, and here comes this Edomite guy. Boom, just pops her, just knocks, lays her out, and then keeps going to work. And by the time he's finally finished, he drags her. He drags her because he pulled her skirt down. He drags her, and you know what took place there. There's going to be a lot that's going to transpire here. So when we try to, when we transpire and we say what we say for the women, right? It's not to we get on you, but it's not to do it because it's hate. We don't hate y'all. We want y'all to understand it's a rebuke. Just like we all got to take correction, self-examine yourself and understand where this stuff is coming from so that you can prepare yourself and give yourself a chance. Because if not, that's going to be light work. That's going to be light work compared to what it is. The women dealing without a head, and you ain't got the man of the Lord to see that vision of where things is going. It's easy. It's just going to be easy. Just fall right into that. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem, man.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the laws in there was kidnapping too. So, kidnapping. A lot of women are going to get snatched up out there in Illinois, and like I said, once lawlessness comes into a place, once you get into a state of lawlessness, and where either cops and police officers are not available, 911 is not available because crime is either so rampant, then you have to fall under like different protection systems, and if you're not already under that protection system, you're just going to be a victim, and we're just talking about just on a carnal level, like just having a man present is a part of protection for a woman. Just the fact that a person knows you have a man, what I'm saying, that you are tied to, that's a level of protection just by that, just having that. But if you're just on your own, and you living in a walking up and down the street when this law passes, or when anarchy sets across in America, you're stuck like Chuck. Like there's no, and the thing about it, a lot of women don't understand is that, like, when you look into the Bible, women were not even mentioned without a man that was actually over them. Their head was mentioned in the scriptures. The only time that they didn't have a head, they were mentioned as a widow. Other than that, Esther had Mordecai, her uncle. You know what I'm saying? Like all the women in the scriptures were mentioned under the household of a man, whether it was their father and then later transitioning to their husband's house. Like just like Saul's daughter Michal, who later on was married off to David. So she was on the house of, under the house of Saul, her father, then became under the house of David. So that was her covering. You know what I'm saying? A house is a covering. That's why when you look at like if you look at like a short like stick figure drawing of a house, it's like a it's basically like the main thing you use is just that cover, like the triangle with a house. Basically, like it's symbolizing a covering. You know what I'm saying? That's what a house is. That's what a house is, a covering, of that man and his family. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of sisters have been confused by feminism, and they don't believe they don't need a man. So basically, you're walking around headless, and that's how I view. After going through the scriptures and meditating, I view any sister that is not under her father's house, uncle's house, if she ain't got a father or she ain't underneath a man, I view her as just a headless. I view her, I look at her, and I see like no head. It's basically what's happening at this point with me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because once a woman that doesn't have a man in her, a husband in her life, or she's not under her father's house, or even her uncle's house, like a Esther, I just view her as a headless person. It means you have no. A head gives you your senses, your vision, your hearing. Okay, it gives you the things you need, your vision, man. Like, how can you anticipate what's to come if you ain't got a proper direction? Now, you sisters that are single and that y'all are following, what we're saying, and you're not married or you don't desire to be married, that wouldn't necessarily apply to y'all as long as y'all continue doing what you're supposed to do. You're praying, you're praying for the brothers and sisters. You're praying for us to get this word out even more further and more efficiently. You're praying for our protection. You're also a woman of good works. Maybe you make garments, maybe you make food, maybe you're hospitable towards brothers and sisters in the faith, things like that. But a lot of you women, that are out there that are not that don't understand this, y'all are just in great danger. And like I was talking to a brother yesterday, like understand, like us brothers that are that are in this, that are sincere, that are seeking, we have a head. You see how it's shot. There's proper order. There's an ordinance and principle in this thing. So sisters, I really don't know what else to say. I mean, but when all hell break loose, a brother ain't gonna turn into Batman to be able to save you in Gotham City. You know what I
mean? God, that's the thing. If you want protection, you gotta take forth the right steps to do it. You gotta show that you deserve the protection. I'm gonna be honest. The same way it goes both ways. It goes for us. In the order as men, right? We gotta prove to the Most High through His Son Yahawashi, right? Because He's the one. Yahawashi is the one who be sent to protect us if we obey Him, right? We gotta prove that we worthy of His protection, right? So we gotta do accordingly. So the same way is the chain of order. Y'all gotta prove that y'all worth the protection. It's not gonna be. A lot of brothers do break this down to this day that, oh man, like, hey, when all hell breaks loose, and let's say all these states, it's affected Jacob's troubles all throughout, and no matter what, a sister that didn't pay attention at that time, and maybe they even heard the word, and they especially if they heard it and rejected it, okay, so now you pop up in front of them. And now you can choose them if you want to choose them. If not, you think the Most High gonna let them get an opportunity if they never repented before this stuff popped off? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no. You just gotta think about that. How does that make sense? Like, you can just pick them and just bring them in here if they haven't repented and come into the ways and been keeping the commands before the whole time when you was keeping high holy days, feast day, doing your best to do it in this captivity, and they was out and about wearing tight garments, right, showing off everything and just enjoying their life, breaking Sabbaths, like willingly breaking Sabbaths, and they get a pass is what? So now you giving the women the easy pass. Well, the men ain't gonna get that chance, right? Which we agree. The women get a pass now because a man in the Lord wants to take a wicked woman in. Nah, man.
It ain't happening. And wise man is not going to do that,
Right.
Tells you a woman that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. So if you was living it up, if you was doing hot dirt, Scar Summer, turn it up, city girl style, Megan Thee Stallion style, Cardi B style, and then all hell break loose. You think that you think that you're gonna be all of a sudden be able to do a 180? It ain't happening.
Hey,
Because the scripture already said that you were living in pleasure and you were dead while you liveth. So man, so you turning into a man ain't gonna all of a sudden make you alive after you was already dead. You was in Mykonos turning up in Tulum.
Come on,
You was
man.
in Tulum. You was in Mykonos.
Yeah, I remember you talking
Okay, like you think all of a sudden like you just gonna come through and just be turn into like a righteous woman? It ain't happening. Like
Yeah.
and the men are gonna know that, and that's why. Like I said, a lot of women are going to be in for a rude awakening, and we're telling sisters this. Why? Because we're men. We know how men get in a time of great stress. A lot of men are going to lash out and just really start doing things bad to these uncovered women. Y'all be their first. Y'all be their first primary victims.
Yes.
Y'all be their first primary victims. Uncovered women and their children will be the first victims when all hell breaks loose. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't got no covering, it's going to make it that much easier. And once they remove the safety net of society, the welfare, the food stamps, whatever it is, and then they're going to try and entice you into the market of beasts. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they're going to give some pain. They're going to want a little level of playing before implementation to make it that much, to make people submit to the new world order. They're going to bring trauma. You know what I'm saying? So they want to have that trauma, and a lot of you women are going to be just caught up out there, and y'all going to be in a state of confusion. A lot of these single mothers are going to abandon their kids. They're going to be killing their kids because they're not going to have no way to take care of them, and they're going to do that. Yes.
Yep.
Yes, you are more than capable. I mean, we've seen Roe v. Wade, and we've seen that tens of millions of kids have been aborted in our community alone, among our people. So if you think you're willing to take out a baby that's growing inside your womb, and you're not going to do it outside the womb, I was going to take some trauma in a bad situation and no help for you to abandon that kid. And we're just telling you what it is right now before it happens, so that way you can, hey, we say we have to save some with fear, man. Like, I mean, it's just is what it is. Like, through the fear and terror of the war, we persuade men. And men means woman too, by the way. Because the way the Greek wording is in a lot of those languages, in fact, most languages, when it says men, a lot of times if women are involved, it just say men. They do say men and women separately at times, but men means mankind. We say you woman too. I mean, wait, didn't John the Baptist, when he was at the River Jordan, say, "Who hath warned you from the wrath to come?" and told the people to repent? Who also was there that was repenting? Woman, not just men. So they were fearful of the judgment to come as well. And we're talking about something that we have to talk about. We just have to let you know. So sisters, it's very important that you get in line and don't fall off to the ways of this world with these other women, man, because these women that are living the quote unquote life, they're going to perish. They're going to perish if they don't repent. They're going to perish. They're not going to, you got these guys in Israel that got these fantasies of just scooping up these IG models in the day of trouble. You know what I mean? Like, you guys don't get it, man. You think all of a sudden they're going to pull up Brittany Renner in the day of trouble. She all of a sudden going to understand.
And it wouldn't even be sincere. That's another thing. It wouldn't even be sincere at all, because the thing is the belief towards Yahawashi. You got to have the faith in Yahawashi. That's what we stress over and over again. You got to have this sincere faith in Yahawashi. Now, if it is fear, like you just brought out, knowing the terror of the Lord, we persuade men, right? Women being included. So of course there's a fear element. There's an element to that, right? But part of that fear, that's not the only, like, you can tell, like, that's not the only reason. Your motive and the only reason that you did it. The Most High can look. The Most High knows the hearts, man. He knows the inward, the outward, right? So he knows, right? Like, if you're doing this strictly off of but I'm scared. I did it because I was simply scared. You didn't do it because you got a love for the Lord. You didn't do it because, man, this is the real deal. This is the truth. I want to walk in the right way. I want to come back to my God. I want to come back to the power, through his only begotten son, for the one that, was crucified for me. You didn't do it for any of those intentions. You did it because, well, hey, there ain't nothing else to do. I might as well do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's a whole different playing field, man. This is Isaiah 13 and 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. So you brothers and you sisters that, like we talked about earlier, be cooning up and joined up with the enemy. Y'all women that want to roll with the so-called, predominantly, white man, right? That's not of our people. You want to join with them, the Edomites. You want to join with them because you want to belittle Jake, you want to belittle our men, right? That you fall in that category. You Uncle Ruckuses, you nephew Ruckuses, right? Y'all gonna be in there. Y'all fall in that category too, man. So y'all gonna be thrust through, man. And their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished, man. So you're gonna be, if you join hand in hand with them, you're gonna feel that same wrath, man. You're gonna be joined onto that, and you're gonna be dealt with, man. It's gonna happen to, like you said, right? This is gonna start, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, right? I think it's in 1 Peter, right? 1 Peter 2, where he talks about he's gonna start with the house of Israel first with judgment, right? So, hey, man, we try to tell our people to get right alongside ourselves. While we're getting ourselves together, we also trying to tell y'all to come into the fold so you can start getting into it now, because once this stuff gets official, when January is, you see, it's right around the corner, January 1st, the days are being shortened, man. It's not like this is 5 years. He said January 1st, 2023. This is literally a date that's passed when this law will be into effect. And it's only going to get worse from right there.
Yeah, I think they actually have a court. I think they're trying to stop it in court or whatever, but it's gonna be hard to stop it because it was actually signed into effect,
right?
As a law. So I think I don't know if it's some activists or some people. I don't know if it's Cook County officials or whoever, but I saw an article that was saying that they're attempting to try and stop it. But if it's part of the agenda, like at the end of the day, like they want to get certain things rolling, like. Like, I mean, at some point, they're going to have to start doing what they've been looking to do. They're delaying it. They're trying to set the pieces right. So that way, when it gets rolling, it gets rolling. They have the propaganda machine behind it. And right now, we have a major slowdown in the economy. A major slowdown in the economy. I believe even FedEx is closing a lot of their locations and things like that. Like that's just a sign of a massive slowdown. If you're hearing about delivery companies like FedEx, big time companies that are now basically, laying off employees, shutting down locations because of the slowdown. You have different big companies that are doing massive liquidation of their inventory. Like there's not money out here, man. The PPP loans, is basically ended. You know what I'm saying? People already spent that money. You know what I'm saying? The jobs are becoming more scarce. The cost of living is increasing. That's leading to a lot of uncertainty. And that's, it's going to continue to go on. And whenever there's economic uncertainty, you're going to have issues with relationships, man. You have issues with relationships. So some of you women, be careful don't let Satan get in your ear, because you and your husband may be experiencing a financial transition of tightening up your budget. Okay, because this is affecting everybody at some level. At least people that are like in the middle to lower incomes, is going to be more effective, or people that live, in very expensive places. Like, so all this stuff could make Satan get in your mind to tell you to leave your man.
Yep.
And then you're going to be out there headless, and Satan going to be like, got her.
Yep. Hey, isn't it ironic how these women that don't want to take heed to the Lord, they're uncovered because they don't have Yahawashi via also a man of the Lord, right? That's
Mhm.
following Yahawashi Mashiach, and they're uncovered because of the way they dress. So you're uncovered, you're uncovered physically, and you're uncovered spiritually.
Yep.
You know?
It's a
So,
manifestation of their spiritual condition. It's the way that they dress.
yep.
Because if you have a man and you're dressing that way too, it's just a signification that are you're spiritually not there
Right.
as well. You know,
Right.
it's a manifestation, because that means you don't value your head, and you're actually still out there putting yourself in the market. And these women just think they're going to continue just, collecting men like Pokemon cards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Listen, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of y'all chicks ain't got the clout level of Brittany Renner. She's even getting turned down by regular dudes, man. And a regular dude at the festival, what was it? Rolling Loud.
Yeah.
That dude, a regular dude at Rolling Loud turned down Brittany Renner on camera. That's why she got mad.
It's like, what? You're not even somebody. She probably thinking that you're not even somebody. Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like y'all ain't got it. It's like they say, you ain't got a snowball's chance in hell if you think that you just gonna go out there and just go grab another man that's gonna be trying to be aligned with this.
right.
Like, it's not many out there. We're not trying to brag or boast. We're just saying what it is. Like, there's not many guys that are in the Israelite communities that are growing, yes, but even within that community, there's not many guys that are actually truly serious. And there's guys that are in and out of the community, you know what I'm saying, that don't really be serious about it. You know what I'm saying? It's a parable deceiving the sower. But if you got guys that are that are diligent, they got other brothers that also are encouraging them, and they're on a particular path. You don't, a lot of you sisters don't know how good you really got it, because y'all really can't see the vision. But if you trust in the Lord, and you're doing the right thing, whether your man is of the elect or not, but if you're doing the right things as a woman according to the scriptures, the Most High is still going to look after you, via via His angels, however He sees fit. We're just in a time it's just like no other. There's so many areas that we can go into. We're talking about this right here. We could talk about the changing monetary system. I mean, we could talk about basically the war in Europe, in Ukraine, and how that's affected. We could talk about the energy crisis. We could talk about the global economic slowdown and the shortages of chips. We could talk about the food supply shortage that's being orchestrated because of the lack of the lack of fertilizer. I mean, there's all kinds of things that are going on that are actually increasing the uncertainty and the unrest,
Right.
on a global scale, and so this is a time that we have to just be circumspect and understand that the time is running short, and we have to just adjust our thinking towards the scriptures more so now than ever. Also, can you go ahead and get that and get Ecclesiastes 8 and 11 again and read down to verse 12? If you can.
Glad you brought that. I was thinking about that. Forgot though.
Yeah, read down to verse 12 on that one. Start from 11.
All right. Ecclesiastes 8 and verse starting at 11. It's locked. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear Yahweh, which fear before Him.
Yeah. So you're gonna see, you're gonna see a lot of things happen, man. You're gonna see a lot of people getting away with a lot of wickedness, and that's what actually happens with our people. They envy the wicked. They envy like the evil that some of these wicked people are doing. You're seeing these people living a life. They're sleeping with random women. They're sleeping with men's wives. They're sleeping with men's quote unquote girlfriends, baby mamas. They're out there, living it up, popping pills, smoking weed, drinking, clubbing, living the money bag yo life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And a lot of our people, they get envious of those that are doing that. They get envious of the guy who's out there. They even seen King Von. They know he's a killer. He got bodies. He's out there living free. You know what I'm saying? He's out there traveling the country. You know what I'm saying? Doing shows, getting being popular, and people know he got bodies on him. You know what I'm saying? And then you see his days were prolonged up until a certain point. But a lot of y'all get jealous. A lot of our people get envious of these people that are living this way. And a lot of people gonna get envious. That's what's gonna happen too. See, when people do certain things, when this law is in effect, if they decide to make it in effect, which eventually they are going to create see, even if they decide to overturn this, it's still going to happen anyway. What I mean by that, lawlessness is still part of the plan in Babylon.
Yep.
Like, so when they see people that are getting away with murder, all these things that were listed, you know what's going to happen? A lot of jakes on the sideline are going to see somebody then killed somebody, and they back in the hood the next day. Bro, it's going to make them be like, damn, his life, his freedom was prolonged.
Yep.
He done did some evil. He did a robbery with a murder, or a kidnapping with a murder, and he back out in the streets in the hood living it up.
Yep.
And they're gonna be like, damn, if he getting away with it and he's still prolonged, I can do it too. But it's gonna be well with them that fear the Lord. They're gonna say, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna live that life.
Right.
Go ahead and read verse 13 as well.
I was just, we gotta get that 13.
Yeah.
But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before Yahweh.
Yeah, that's why a lot of these rappers is getting murked out here, man. It is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? They're living a lifestyle. They're promoting a lifestyle that's causing a lot of death of our people. You know, and and you got people that follow that lifestyle. They're also coming to an untimely death as well. That's why a lot of these things, man, it's just designed for a lot of our people to be taken out at a high clip, a high rate. You know, you got rappers like, man, it's very dangerous to be a rapper. Well, dang it, it is dangerous being a rapper if you're talking about shooting the ops and sleeping with somebody's wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I would think so, wouldn't it? I mean, it sounds like you're bringing that upon yourself with your own words, man. To tell you life and death, the power of life and death is in the tongue.
Power in the tongue, yeah.
So you got people out here just like looking at themselves, RIP to this person and that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, please, man. That's why a lot of times when you see these people that like live in these cities where they got real like beefs, like the King Von situation. When King Von died and FBD Duck and all these rappers died in these cities like Chicago, man, most of the comments in there when you went to these little Instagram pages was people laughing about it. You know what I'm saying? The hatred be so high, the tension be so high in those communities, in those places, that they, you know what I'm saying? They laugh about it, but eventually it's going to come around to them too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And people going to be laughing at them as well. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't understand that their time was also cut short, or was going to be cut short as well. You know what I mean? So it's, the cycle goes around. You reap what you sow. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is with these people. You reap evil and you're getting evil put upon you. And a lot of these people, they're not going to get it until it's too late. A lot of people ain't going to understand it until they're in Sheol or that's on Judgment Day. And unfortunately for a lot of them, that's when they're going to realize that they shouldn't have lived that life. And ain't going to be no excuses of like, man, I was confused. You know, I didn't grow up with this. I didn't grow up with that. Or everybody in my neighborhood was doing it. It tells you falling out of the multitude to do evil.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they didn't want to listen to them words when brothers was on the block teaching it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even though they had the big Jesus piece on a you know what I'm saying? on their chest. You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. You know, we care about our people, but man, it's getting to the point like I don't really care about no, you know, trying to promote some national group economics thing. You know, I'll support our people. Like I'll buy, you know, I try and buy from our people. If I know one of our people is selling something that I can get from them, I'll go to them. We do that type of thing, you know.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you know, when we're talking about building a nation here, that stuff ain't happening, bro. That stuff it ain't happening, bro. So it's a done deal.
Yeah. No,
it's a wrap.
It is, and I'm glad you brought that up because that's what you'll see. You see a lot of the nationalistic level goes so hard. That's why we did that. We did the topic on that before. It goes so heavy to the point where now you feel like, okay, you'll even hear other people in the Israelite community try to bring other people that don't even consider themselves Israelites, consider themselves Christian. They could be Christians, Muslim, whatever. Just because they are by blood, they share the same blood, right? They seem to descend from the same, descend back from Jacob. We can still build and find a way to, get together. But what you're doing is you compromising the whole thing that will get us out of here anyway. You compromising the gospel, you compromising the words by trying to mix different things and put it into one just because we are a nation. That's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? So, I mean, yeah, ain't no way of making that happen. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be those. It said, even like again, those who even fear the Lord are going to be persecuted. Man, it says that. In Second Ezra 16, I believe in 71 or 72, one of those in that ballpark. So it's like, yo, you gotta really have that faith to get through this, man. You gotta really believe in Yahawashi. You can't be compromising the word to link up and join up with people that don't really feel it, man. Because hey, you're not even protected if you're not in if you're not in Yahawashi in those times, you're not going to receive everlasting life. So whether that be in Jacob's when Jacob's troubles in full effect, or when thermonuclear missiles hit, or even in Luke 19, right? When Yahawashi bring them before me, you know what I'm saying? They may slay me, I may slay them before me.
Yeah.
Like there's one way or another, you're not going to make it into the kingdom. Like how we're preaching. That's why it's kind of sad, man, to see a lot of our people that have made some changes, right? Trying to keep commandments and doing these things, but it's like, yo, if you're not gonna go all the way with it, that's another piece. It's like you're not going all the way with it. Like, why go this far to not go all the way with it? You feel like,
yep. Yeah, that's why Yahawashi, dude, had said the right answer, and Yahawashi said to the man, "Thou art not far off from the kingdom of heaven." you're close, but you're not far off. You're almost there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So almost saying, saying almost doesn't count. Is that a song? Almost doesn't count or whatever, or
right.
It's like it's almost doesn't count, man. Like if you either hit the mark or you don't.
Right.
And a lot of our people don't understand, like you was bringing out in that lesson, it's, man, people was keeping them Sabbaths back then, bro.
Yeah.
Like Yahawashi, his first sermon was in the synagogue on the Sabbath day, but they didn't hear him. They tried to kill him. You guys, I'm pretty sure had fringes on. They never ate no unclean foods. They didn't keep high holy days, all that stuff. They didn't read the scriptures. They didn't speak Hebrew. Like you guys, you brother has no idea. Like, hey, if you saw your ancestors 2,000 years ago, you'd be ashamed at how far we've fallen off.
I remember
these are the people, and these are the people that didn't even follow Yahawashi. We're talking about just keeping the law.
Just real unclean foods too. Like, because Esau defiled stuff. So even if you think you're eating something unclean, you can't even really trace what who knows what got into his hands, man. Who knows what he did to it? Anything. So these guys was the vegetables, the fruit, the meat, all of that was a different type of animal that you was dealing with literally back then than what you're dealing with now. They're being put up with steroids and pesticides and the vegetables and all that. Esau defiling everything. So, they was really eating unclean food, like for real.
Eating clean, you mean?
Slaki. Okay, I meant to make. They was really eating clean foods back then, as opposed to us, where we trying to do the best we can here. But Esau touching it, ain't no telling.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically where we're at. I mean, and that's why the gospel is the message, a message of liberation for those that are bound under the law. Mm-hmm. Because Yahawashi through faith becomes the offering for sin for those that believe, in order to free them from the punishment from the wages of sin, which is death. You know what I'm saying? So, that gives us liberty to get right and to make our ways go through a sanctification process, and for us to be seen as valuable in the sight of the Most High, to be delivered. And so, all this stuff is just, we're warning our people, because, man, there's gonna be a time when a lot of stuff, communication is gonna get cut down. Like, you might just be on your own. Like, a lot of people don't understand that. Like, maybe on your own, communication could be cut off. Right. You could be put on a list because you profess yourself to be an Israelite, where they could just block your means of communication. We don't know how they can do it, but they can do that. You know what I'm saying? They could put you on a list where you're just not, or just shut down all means of communication during the time of a national emergency. And the only thing they're gonna do is just have like see what they practice it with these alert systems, like these child alert systems when these kids get kidnapped and they put it on your phone. You know what I'm talking about, when they send those emergency messages.
Yeah, con.
You know what I'm
Be
saying?
ringing, vibrating. Yeah.
Yeah, they can set it up where you can't even call nobody, but the only message you're gonna get is that there's a national emergency. Report to your nearest, Walmart, CVS, or whatever, for help or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be like that. You know what I'm saying? And then you won't be able to call. You won't be able to call your brother or sister in the faith to know what to do next. You got to know what you got to know from what was being told to you of what is to come. So that way, if you go there and they like, yo, look, if you want to get food, you want to get shelter, you got to take this ship. You know what I'm saying, or whatever it is, man, because they going straight digital currency, man. Like they going straight digital currency. Like we'll get into that, Lord willing. Go over some of the updates of what's going on, but like the time is closing fast. Like it's just closing. Like every day is just getting closer and closer. You know what I'm saying? And you can see there's massive tension on the earth right now, man. Like Russia, NATO, and their allies, China. India's rocking with Russia as well, buying their energy supply, like, and a lot of people are choosing sides. It's eventually going to lead to a world war. You know what I mean? And the whole Taiwan situation with the lack of chips that are out there. I did a lesson on that about how Taiwan is manufactures these a large proportion of semiconductor chips, like. China goes in there and takes it, like they're going to control a large sector of the chip market, which will basically help them further their power. So there's a lot of things going on, and we just have to be aware. We just have to be aware, and we have to be awake, stay woke.
Con.
Go ahead, Ak.
Con. No, that's what it is, man. Let's do this. And you gotta stay in the spirit. So you gotta stay in that spiritual mindset, right? Let the Holy Spirit of truth guide us, man. So let's do this. Romans 8, and I'll start off with 5. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against Yahweh. For it is not subject to the law of Yahweh, neither indeed can be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please Yahweh. But ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If so, be that the spirit of Yahweh dwell in you. Now if any man have not the spirit of Mashiach, he is none of his. And if Mashiach be in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the spirit is life because of righteousness. But if the spirit of him that raised up Yahawashi from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up Hamashiach from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his spirit that dwelleth in you. Therefore, brethren, we are debtors not to the flesh to live after the flesh. If we live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye through the spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live. So that's what we focusing on this and being in Hamashiach Yahawashi, right? Focusing in the spirit, getting into this word and doing spiritual things, getting onto that, man. That's what we need to be focusing on. It's more of a self-examination scripture as well, but that's the main thing, like we talked about here. You can't be in a carnal mind state, be focusing on carnal things, right? Especially for y'all new brothers and new sisters that just came in. Don't ever look at it like they got something where they winning. Or they got something they winning right now. Hey, it's like you said, like I got I got something where there's a joint where you got the Drake joint was called Laugh Now, Cry Later. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
so
yeah.
We gotta to some extent, being in this wicked land, right? Not saying you literally trying to be depressed all the time, but cry now and laugh later. See, we crying in this land. So we doing it in reverse. We in this land, we here. And we got to deal with what's going on. We know this isn't our rest. We got to deal with the wickedness that we continue to see on a day-to-day basis from our enemies and our people, our enemies of our people, right? We got to continuously deal with these things. You going to your job, whatever, and still coming across the news hey, some of this news, while it's wickedness, we know these pangs have to come now, because hey, that's a sign of the time being coming closer. So it's a dual thing, man. You see the wickedness, you're like, man, it's some sorrow to it, but it's also some joy to it, because you know this is the prophecy. Look, the Bible don't lie. The prophecy is being fulfilled, and you getting closer. We getting closer each time and each day, man.
Gone. Yeah, brother Yawasop Bob brought up a precept, Amos 8:11, famine of the word. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord God, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the word of the Lord. So, I mean, that's basically what it is. Like, people ain't going to be hearing it no more. You know what I'm saying? Right now, people are hearing it. That's why you got the likes of Agent Reisner, aka Vocab Malone, who is going around trying to prevent our people from hearing the word. You know what I mean? And trying to discredit, at least on the level, because he's attacking a central part of the scriptures, which is the salvation for Israel. For the Israelites and for those that are under the oppression of these heathen, especially Edom. So, man, it's like I said, what a time to be alive, right? That's what it is. Like, we're fortunate to be born in this time, to see some of these things, and hoping that we'll be part of history when things come to pass, man. Because this is stuff that was written about thousands of years ago, and a lot of prophets and wise men desire to basically see those things which were to come. And not every soul was appointed to live in these last days to basically experience what is to come. So we're in a very special situation, like the brother was saying. Cry now, laugh later. It says, those aside and cry for the abominations done in the midst thereof, put a mark upon them. And those men and women, that were wanting to have a place wherein righteousness dwelleth, which is in the kingdom to come. Those people are going to be the ones that are truly sincere, that follow the gospel. They're going to inherit, and their tears are going to be wiped away from their eyes. We're facing a lot of trials and tribulation, a lot of temptations in this land, in this world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that brothers and sisters that are in this could do, but it'll basically compromise our faith. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, as far as like making money, like there's things that people do out here that are considered legal. You know what I'm saying? And they're living it up. I mean, they're coming back stunting on you. You know what I'm saying? Because but little they know that what they're doing is actually going to destroy them. You know what I'm saying? It tells, what does a man have to gain the whole world but to lose his soul? But what should a man give in exchange for his soul? Like, you know what I'm saying? You can gain all these things and gain it in the way that is unrighteous, and then get destroyed eternally for a short-term, lifestyle that people want to live. You know what I mean? And men and women, there's various things that are in these societies that people can do that allows them to live a particular lifestyle. But so you got to sometimes go through certain sufferings. You know what I'm saying? You got to go through certain mental stresses, man, just to maintain your overall integrity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so many people know, because you got family members, relatives, people you grew up with, that they're doing certain things that are unbiblical to make their money. You know what I mean? They're living a lifestyle that is contrary to the scriptures, and it. They live in a lifestyle that is anti-biblical. It's against the scriptures, and they're comfortable. They're laughing. They're turning up. They're smiling. All that they're living it up, and you're wondering about your next meal, how you're gonna pay your next bill. Okay, you're worried about job security. You're worried about all those things. You know what I'm saying? And they're not. You know what I'm saying? They're not. But eventually, stuff is going to come to a point where they're just going to stop They're going to stop every money, all the money supply, the money train, and they're going to say, no more money, no more buying, no more selling, unless you got this MOTB.
Yeah.
They're going to eventually do that, and everybody's going to be at square one. And and everybody's going to be back at square one, and then it's going to be, do you want this chip or not? And that's where you're going to have to say, I'm willing to forego trying to get that, knowing that the time is truly short and that the judgment is coming. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why we need to be in communication among one another. You know what I'm saying? Don't be shy. Reach out to different brothers and sisters. Get yourself in the circle of faith. You know what I'm saying? So that way people know who you are, can vouch for you. Because, man, people gonna pop up trying to man, listen, bro. People gonna pop up, man, trying to, move in and do. I'm telling you, it's gonna get funny style. If you ain't really been around like that. It's just is what it is. If you just been somebody, we got brothers that we know, bro. Them guys, we ain't seen the guys. We ain't heard from the guys 2 to 3 years. They just pop out. You don't hear from them. Their phone number didn't change. They don't hit you up with their new line. Nothing. But when trouble comes, they're gonna hit you back up. You don't know what they've been into since then.
Right.
You don't know if they got a drug habit. They're gonna move in, take your stuff, kill you. You know what I'm saying? Then go and support whatever they got going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they using you as someone who they know is hospitable and kind, and they're, you know what I mean? Stuff's gonna get real funny, man. It tells you, brother shall betray brother unto death, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So these people, you got to be very mindful of, you know what I mean, in these last days, man, because when desperation comes, people do desperate things, man. You know what I'm saying? And our people are not going to be, your people are going to be the main ones your people going to be the main ones that do you in. The people of your own nation going to be the main ones that are going to do you in. You know what I'm saying? Because they're the ones closest to you. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta be mindful of that, because like I said, we keep saying this, but the day gonna come when all hell gonna break loose, man. And people that were thinking it's gonna be put afar off, people have been saying that since back in the day that this when it happened, people gonna be crying, sighing and crying, boo-hooing and hee-heeing and what's I'm saying, it's gonna be singing that Marvin Gaye, man. You know what I'm saying, what's going on? I don't know if that's Marvin Gaye or Al Green, one of them two. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna get real bad.
Yeah.
And all these pro blacks, blackity black blacks, and all these people pro whatever, they're gonna see how bad the people really is.
Yeah.
You're gonna really be thinking that you on the same team, and they're gonna be acting as the main enemy, and then you're gonna realize, damn, there was no unity, because a lot of Israelites promote this whole unity Israel thing that will happen. And please, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
That whole man, when it goes down, man, we're gonna be going, Jake gonna band up together and go against Esau, and please. By the time Esau gets to the hood, y'all done killed half of the Jake they're ready to murk themselves, murk each other. You know what I mean? Come on, bro.
Yeah, that's why you can't compromise it. Yahawashi, when they talk about Yahawashi, look, anytime you hear someone tell you, oh, when Yahawashi comes back, that's when we'll all have the understanding. That's incorrect. So he's gonna clear it up once he comes down. No, the ones that are of him are gonna have his mind state anyway. If the sheep hear his voice, they gonna understand his mindset, his doctrine, before he comes down. That's just what it is. So they're gonna be on that one accord. That's what he's coming for. Those people, those are his sheep. So, and these other people, right, whether in various different communities, right, that be of our people, because we're everywhere. So they probably be one of the people in the Revelation 11, right, where to persecute you, right, and think that they did the service of the Lord. Right, you know what I'm saying? These are the people. They'll persecute you and put you to death, right? You know what I'm saying? Now, through Yahawashi, you know what I'm saying? And those who he chooses, those are his, right? They'll conquer and overcome death just as he did, right? So, Hey,
Yeah.
look, but for those, you know what I'm saying, for you gotta look, we gotta keep our minds straight and focus, like you said. And like, because like you mentioned, all this stuff don't mean nothing, man. Especially with you mentioned people, they doing what they're doing, living an unbiblical lifestyle for money, and there's also people that live an unbiblical lifestyle just for a perceived image. You're not even making any money. You're still broke living the perceived image that you got.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad it's become. It's to make you look like somebody. You know what I'm saying? Even if that's somebody, you're not making bread. You see it. You come across a lot of so-called celebrity or social media presence people with a presence, and I've met a few of them, or I've come across or seen them on video, and they'll be like, "Yo, like I'm really not making, like it's not what it looks like. They still be broke." Like
Yeah.
it's just for a perceived image, so you look like you got power amongst others. So even then, you still taking double on L's. It's like there's really no excuse. Like you
Yeah.
still suffering the same oppression that Jake doing. You just enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Which is
Yeah.
maddening, man. So hey, we got, that, like you brought up, brother. We just got to come into Yahawashi, believe, and focus on that. For the brothers that are silly dialed in, you got to stay dialed in. You can't just hey, come in there, get initiated into the faith and just disappear. Same thing with sisters. We got to be locked in as a family. If a family got to stay locked in, don't mean you got to talk every day. But
Mm-hmm.
you somewhere within the family circle, right? Somebody know, okay, if I talk to you about such and such, I haven't talked to him right recently, but you've talked to him, like, okay, that brother's good, doing good. Okay, oh, this sister's doing good. Yeah, I spoke to her like maybe 2-3 days ago or a week ago, whatever. There's some sort of communication along the whole family. You feel me? So that's just what it's got to be, and especially in the times we're approaching, because it's only gonna get worse. So that's all it is.
Mm-hmm. God. Yeah, man. We just have to be mindful. I think the more we meditate on these things, the more we're not going to be surprised when it happens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we're not going to be taken aback we're going to be startled by like the surprise of certain things and events transpiring. We're just going to know this is something we've been talking about, meditating on for years.
Yeah.
So like other people that are just sitting around watching like loving hip hop, watching basketball, sports, listening to their favorite artists, when that time comes, they're gonna just be like, what's going on? Oh my gosh, oh what, you know, and that's why they're gonna panic and they're gonna get desperate. This is second. I'm gonna read this real quick. This second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 23. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they should be suddenly afraid. And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. Sure, you're mute. Yeah.
Con.
Yeah. So, that's, so all these people, they're cool with each other in the world. They're not going to be cool with each other on that day, man.
Yeah.
Tells you, man, with us because of the lack of bread, men shall be invading each other's houses, with swords in their hands because of the lack of bread, because of great tribulation. You know what I'm saying? So these people that are all clicked up, friends, you know what I'm saying? These people are living like false lifestyles, man. They're showing their highlights, not their lowlights. Yeah, a lot of these celebrities making money. Yeah, a lot of them touching the bag. Like you can tell. Yeah, some of them is touching the bag, but they live like a lifestyle that they ain't going to be able to upkeep when things slow down. When they had to shut down and people couldn't, when they shut down all them clubs, man, they wasn't making money because they wasn't able to do them club appearances. That was like one of the big ways a lot of these celebrities are making money. These blue checks that were doing club appearances. And when they shut down them clubs, they were stuck at home, couldn't do nothing, and their money, their lifestyle that they were living, all their expenses, they couldn't get it. And what a lot of happened is a lot of them got tempted and got into the PPP, and then a year later, they got arrested, caught up. You know what I mean? So, yeah, don't let these people out here fool you on their lifestyle and stuff. Some of these people is going a little bit further to fund their lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? They're doing more wicked things to fund it. But a lot of them, you know, they're not going to be able to last and stand the test of the tribulation that's to come. I mean, they're not people to follow. And a lot of our people are just ain't getting it. They're just not getting it as of right now. But they'll understand. You know, it's like it's in Hosea. You know, some of them will get a chance to understand. You know, he's gonna give that affliction, and he said, in their affliction they'll seek me early.
God,
You know what I'm saying? So,
God.
so some of them is gonna get a rude awakening. You know, and they're gonna be like, dang, you know, stuff ain't working the way I thought it was. I need to know. You know, they're gonna realize that they're doing something wrong, and then they're gonna come towards the gospel. You know, some of them will before it's too late.
God. Yep. And that's what this little small window is right now. You know what I'm saying? You see the circle just kind of clicking. It's getting small. It's like a vortex. Like, you know, we've seen in certain movies like any of these time travel movies, anything like they had to go through a vortex and it would get smaller, start shrinking. You got to jump in that portal.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So that's what's happening right now, man. It continues to get smaller, but there's still time for Jake, you know, that's why we still come out here. There's still time for Jake we still do these lessons. Most High still allows us to do this 3 hour shot, man. Like, the portal is getting smaller, but there's still time for brothers and sisters to, you know, come into it before it's too late and fight, man. You know what I'm saying? Endure to the end. Stay in this thing through Yahawashi Hamashiach, man. That's what we preaching, man. The full gospel. You know, hey, I'm gonna jump on this and do a little lesson. Sometime shortly is a little on the article on Christianity. But basically it's just that they're depleting, man. They falling apart at an all-time high. Like it's recorded. You got many showing that these people are just it's been there, but our people are definitely leaving the church. You know, it's even other nations are going away from it, man. So
yeah.
at the end of the day, man, there's no excuse. You know, you should have questions and figure, okay, where do I go? Don't go aimlessly just walking about and saying, I gotta live my life, or let me put some money into my revenue, learn business, trade, let me get some skills in real estate. That's not
Yeah.
gonna save you, man. We're not telling you that's a bad thing to do while we still here and we gotta live in captivity. I'm not saying it's wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like, don't put your faith in that. That's not gonna get you anywhere. That's just a
Yep.
side hustle for you to do so you can stay alive. But it ain't what's gonna get you out of the turmoil to come, right? The only one that's gonna do that is Yahawashi Mashiach. And I'm gonna get this precept, and I'll let you have the floor for the rest, brother. Before we close it out. Revelation 22. Um, Put it up here, and I'm gonna go to start off at verse 13. Well, I'll start. Actually, no, why not? I'll start at 10. And he saith unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful part about that is all the without them, the many commandments that are given that we're to keep, it all hangs under love the Lord thy God, you know, Yahweh, of course, with all thy heart, and love thy neighbor as thyself. So all these things, this hangs the law. Everything is hung up into that. So those are the two we focus on. Love covers a multitude of sins.
Mm-hmm.
God, we keep build within, and whoever the Most High allows to see it, let them see it. And this is all in the name of Yahawashi, and no other name but the Lord Yahawashi Hamashiach.
Con.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I ain't got really much else to say. Let me get Luke 17.
Con.
So you can go ahead and pull it up, but I'll read it. Luke 17, just pull up at verse 26, and I'll just read.
All right. Luke 17 and 26. You see it?
Yeah, 26. Yeah. All right. So, as it was in the days of Noe, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage unto the day Noe entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. When you talk about that vortex, like the time shrinking, basically that's what it is. It's like Noe building up the ark. You know what I'm saying? The flood is coming. You know what I'm saying? People is just still living it up. The ark was finished. He, got inside it with his family, and then the
Mhm.
flood came and destroyed them all. You know what I'm saying? So there's a time period, man. Things was going on. People were doing other things in their life while Noe was preparing for his escape, and people thought it was a joke. You know what I mean? Until the end came, man. I mean, and if you want to think about it like this, like I done been, my cousin had gotten married, went to his wedding in what was that? That was July. Went to his wedding. So people still getting married, man. You see proposals like on Shade Room
Yep.
and things like that. You still seeing people getting into new relationships. You know, still people having babies. All that stuff is still happening, man. People still trying to build their future. They're looking towards the future because all these things imply that there's something happening. A marriage is a journey. You know,
Mm.
so that's implying that they have a future. You don't marry and let people hardly marry if they feel will hardly marry if they feel like they won't live to see another day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Some people will sentimentally marry, but that's something that wasn't happening in the ancient world. Was somebody sentimentally marrying it on their deathbed? So you know that's
Right.
how it is. This is verse 29, verse 28. Likewise, also it was in the days of Lot. They did eat, they planted, they built, brought, they sold. They planted, they builded. Yeah, they bought, they sold. Hey, people gonna be buying and selling with a chip though. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Before the time of the Son of Man.
Yep.
They planted, they builded. You know what I'm saying? You got people, they still gonna build their houses, their townhomes. They're still gonna build their companies, whatever they got going on, their restaurants, whatever dreams that they have.
Mhm.
It says, but the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Even thus shall it be in the day of when the Son of Man is revealed. In that day, he which shall be upon the housetop and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it away. And he that is in the field, let him likewise not return back. Remember Lot's wife. Whosoever
Oh.
shall seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. That pretty much goes without saying.
God.
You know, so like the brother was saying, like we're not against brothers improving their situation, career wise or investing in a business. Just understand that you know there's going to be an expiration on it eventually. Um, you're pursuing a particular position, maybe to move into a maybe to get promoted at your job or to move into a different department, or maybe you're studying, you're in class, you're in school, and maybe your graduation for that particular thing is like next year or 2024 or 2025. It may not happen. Doesn't mean you don't live day by day. I mean, it tells you to not look too far ahead of your own situation, to look take things day by day and just do what you got to do. So don't abandon it, but keep that in mind as well. Because what can happen sometimes, it could be disappointments. You might apply for a job and you don't get it and you're disappointed, but maybe you at least have a job already. You know what I'm saying? But you don't know that the end is coming anyway. So you try and temper what your perceived disappointments are, understanding that the that the world is coming to an end. It's a very hard thing to explain, to understand, but
Mhm.
sometimes certain things don't happen for you, or don't happen for you, and you might be more upset, but you be less upset when you're like, okay, the end is coming anyway. What I'm saying, maybe I don't understand what the Lord's will is for me in that section, but I'm just gonna go wherever the Most High is taking me right now and just let it roll, not understanding that the Most High could be just shutting stuff down 2023 or whatever.
Mhm.
Like and you was worried about something that was going to happen in 2024 all the way out in the future.
Right.
James warns you about that. That's why we say, if the Lord's will, I'll do such and such. That's what I always say. Like, I'm applying for, if I apply for a particular position, the Lord's will, if it's the Lord's will, I get this particular job, or I get this particular increase or raise or whatever, You could be talking to a brother, a sister could be talking to a brother, or a brother could be talking to a sister planning on marrying. And you could say, you thinking it's going to happen. You say, if the Lord wills, this will happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then it don't happen. When it don't happen, you don't be as disappointed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but so you always want to, like it says, that guard your heart above all else, for out of it come the issues of life. So you got to guard your heart, guard your mind, against the issues of life, man, because these things is what make people go crazy, man. I've seen a girl on IG, one of these, I don't know, it was like on Hollywood Unlocked, or one of these ones that I follow, and she was crying about how she done broke up. I think she was dating NLE Chopper, one of them guys, and she was crying because he broke up with her. It's like this disappointment, but you don't, it's like people don't know what their future holds, man. You could be thinking that you're going to be with this, you're going something like this, or that's going to happen for you, and it don't happen for you the way it is. But the Most High has a plan for you. If you trust in His plan, that He's going to make a way for you, for whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So just trust in the Lord and exercise patience, man. In your patience, possess ye your souls. That's what it is. It's another saying from Yahawashi.
Come on. Come on. I got another one, the precept that I go with another talking about trusting in the Lord. I love those precepts all day for that. It's throughout the scriptures. Let's go right here. Isaiah 26. And I'll start off from 1. In that day shall this song be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. Salvation will appoint for walls and bulwarks. Open ye the gates, that the righteous nation which keepeth the truth may enter in. Thou will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'll keep it going one more. Trust ye in Yahweh forever, for in the Lord Yahweh is everlasting strength.
Come on.
Amen. That trust gonna come a long way in the times to come, man. And just knowing, even like you said, meditating on this stuff is important, because at the time that you don't know what you could be facing. All types of things gonna be going on in that day, right? In that time, the Jacob's trouble, whenever that stuff all pop up, you don't know what you're gonna be faced with. There's gonna be when that real day pops up, you could be dealing with wicked people of your own nation, right? You could be dealing with these other nations, especially these Edomites, right? Looking to come out, because you got these different movies, man. You can look at these. You can look at the Purge. That's why they put these things out here. They did it the same way. They would put it. A lot of these movies would be put. They'll put it in different cities. They'll start at a particular area and start the crime in that specific point first, and then do different movies. They'll target a different area. It's the same thing, man. So you don't know what you're gonna be faced. Different people. Hey, animals gonna be going buck wild. You could be just like Daniel, man. You could be doing like Daniel and have to face a lion. Your lions.
Yep.
You don't know, because the zoo. Think the zoo the Most High gonna get these animals out the zoo, man. And they carry a whole collection, different variety of animals in there, man. I forgot what the movie was called, because I never watched it. But it was basically a mall got flooded out, and there was alligators the whole time in there, like just swimming up in there. We don't know what we gonna face, man. But if you trust in Yahweh, hey, that's the best. That's the only way. Even if you go out, you trust in the Most High through Yahawashi, trust in Yahawashi, right? Blessed those trust in His Son, man. Blessed are those who trust trust in Him, right? Yep. So if you do that, hey, that's the best way. You never know, man. The Most High could protect you in many ways, because there's going to be some supernatural things that, right, a carnal-minded person are not going to believe that we could achieve, because they don't believe in the Bible. They don't believe in Yahweh. They don't believe in Yahawashi. But this thing is spiritual. There's spiritual powers that unlock, and Most High can unlock that just off of your trust, right in the nick of time, if that's His will. You just don't know, man. It's possible. So anything is possible with the Lord, man. Nothing, everything is impossible with man, but with all, with the Lord, all things is possible.
Con. That's right.
Hey, so you got any more out before we wrap this up?
No, that's it.
All right, shoot. We're gonna we'll go ahead and close it out with the Matthew 26. All right. Slacky. Now, when Yahushua was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. And when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Yahushua understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this, that this woman have done, be told for a memorial of her. And with that, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh,
Yahweh Ba'ashem.
Hashem, Yahweh Shai.
Shai.
Peace and blessings to y'all brothers and sisters that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, learning and or teaching this gospel in truth and sincerity, diligently waiting on the second coming of arrival of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach. All y'all brothers that tuned in, stopped in on live, y'all sisters that tuned in, shalom to y'all, and we want to give out special shalom to y'all brothers and sisters out there scattered abroad.
All right, shalom.